Fellow non-Americans, what is something quite common in the US that is completely unheard of in your own country? My German friend visited us in college. First party he goes, they do exist, and held up our pack of red Solo cups. Ha! Healthcare workers going home after work still in scrubs. And washing them at home. Free drink refills. Homecoming. Sadie Hawkins, winter formal, prom. We have none of this. The closest thing is the graduation itself. Not sure if it's been said. Americans with Disabilities Act is amazing. Wheelchair ramps everywhere and ease of access. This thing where the kitchen sink has teeth. As a duchy, driving a car and turning right on a red light. That messed with my head. If you do that here, you are gonna hit at least 5 cyclists. Ice tap water on your table immediately. Such an amazing thing. How old is too old to date an 18-year-old? Whatever age that listening to them gets annoying. DiCaprio, is that you? If you're asking this, the answer is probably you're too old. Gets a bit sketchy beyond early 20s. I'm a 28-year-old woman. I'd say 22 is the cutoff. 18 is a fresh young adult with next to no real-life experience, and older people can generally manipulate them due to that fact. POV, you dated a 35-year-old at the age of 19 and now realize how goddamn creepy it was. At 18, I dated a 27-year-old for 3 months. At the time it didn't bother me, we had loads of fun together. But looking back, it was maybe a little weird. 23 older. Based on the what's the youngest woman I can date formula. Age divided by 2 plus 7. Edit, both must be legal adults from that point. Half number ages of the younger party will be rounded up. What is a disorder or health problem that no one thinks is as terrifying as it is? Endometriosis. Pretty much any mental health issue. It's almost invariably met with some variation of "it's all in your head." Like, no shit. You don't tell someone with a broken femur that they're fine because it's all in your leg. Vertigo. Anxiety. It's so underlooked and causes people to kill themselves more and more. I bet it's also a major factor in every public shooting. It's like the biggest slap in the face because it's right there, but everyone insists there must be something else. Diabetes. Anything that has to deal with food digestion. Eating is an essential part of daily life, so disrupting it, having a disease, will affect almost every single waking moment. What is an American thing but Americans think everyone outside of America does it? I thought PBJ sandwiches was a worldwide phenomenon as a kid. I'm an Australian. Except when posting in a local sub, I assume that most Redditors are Americans. Having garbage disposal unit installed under kitchen sink. When I came to US from Canada to see a friend, after dinner when we were splitting the bill, they asked if I could just Venmo it over. And then I told them we don't have Venmo. And then I saw the shocked Pikachu meme face around me. So I'm gonna say Venmo. DDI. Growing up I thought baseball was as widely played as football, soccer worldwide. The First Amendment. I just howled with laughter when some Canadian convoy protester claimed he had First Amendment rights, when the First Amendment in the Canadian Constitution actually provided for the government of Manitoba. Tipping. Serious, when are people going to mass revolt against the current conditions of the world? If history is right, hunger is the main motivator. Ask yourself, when will you do it? Your answer will be the same as almost everyone else's. When the food runs out. When those conditions affect them personally and are inflicting enough pain. Maybe it also needs a little bit of hope to counter the apathy. When the distraction is gone. Okay, you revolt. But then what? What's your plan? What's your plan after you overthrow whatever you wanted to overthrow? And what makes you think you can establish and maintain a better system than the one currently in place? What makes you think you can prevent corruption and bad actions that led to the situation you wanted to revolt against in the first place? What makes you so sure your revolt won't leave you in an even worse position than the one you're currently in? People will not do shit until their phone fails to have service. Do you support Colorado decriminalizing certain psychedelic drugs? Why or why not? Sure, I'd decriminalize all drugs if I had my way. Locking up drug users doesn't accomplish anything. I live here and voted for it. Let adults do what they want. There are absolutely therapeutic uses for psychedelic drugs, particularly psilocybin for chronic migraines. Not to mention uses for treatment of PTSD and depression. I myself think most drugs should be legal and regulated. Do we really want our citizens using drugs synthesized in China and distributed by the cartels? Overdose is the #1 cause of death in adults 18-45, and it's not because they took too much, it's because they didn't know what they were actually ingesting. Yes, having access to psilocybin can help a lot of people struggling with depression. I hope they legalize in Massachusetts soon. What cranks your anxiety to 100? Large groups of people I don't know. A phone call from an unrecognized mobile number. We need to talk. Being in a vehicle with a reckless driver. High-stakes professional situations, for example job interviews. My anxiety was off the charts right before my grad school interview. Political world news. Thinking about work. Conflict of any kind. Nope, can't do it. Staring into the pitch black dark for 30 seconds feeling like something is watching me. Is that just me? Uninvited guests, people visiting unannounced, even if they were my best friend. Can I ask you a question? My bank account. Being hungover. Like, everything. Opening up gifts in front of others. What is a food you could eat every day and not get bored of? Bread, baguette, potatoes, boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Lovely big golden chips with a nice piece of fried fish. Tacos. Freshly baked bread with butter. A good soft taco. Pretty much any Mexican food really. It never gets old. Sandwiches. Pizza. Every day, everywhere, every way. Pho, boat noodles, kathu etc. Some soupy rice noodle dish. White rice. Dumplings. Pasta and tomato sauce. In fact I used to as a student. Sushi. Garlic bread. I could honestly eat for every meal. Or just eat it forever without stopping. Pasta. I know most people think of all pasta as tasting the same, but for me spaghetti is a completely different meal than penne or orzos. It also helps I'm Italian. Ramen noodles. I'm ashamed to admit. What actions are you taking in your life that you believe are improving the world? Drinking myself into oblivion. B. Pretty much the only thing I can do as one singular person, which is be kind to people. I am very intentionally kind to others and I do think it improves the immediate areas around me. I'm cultivating psilocybin. Nothing. When I finally get the balls to kill myself, that's going to be the best thing for the world that's in my power to do. I try to be kind to everyone I encounter, think before I speak, I take other people's feelings into consideration before acting. I also feed homeless folks year-round. I am a one-man sandwich making operation in Richmond, Virginia. I like to scrunch up my water bottles when I throw them away. That way they take up less space in the trash. I vote and pay taxes, my total obligation. Learning skills. Helping my friends and family. Killing myself. Suicide by degree. How different is your life now compared to 3 years ago? I'm not as much of a fat ass as I was. Recovering from COVID has been a trip. Married, bought a house, new car, back surgery all fixed up now, weed is legal, took up 2 new sports, in my 30s. Been a good few years. Way busier. If I grew the amount of legal cannabis I grow in Texas, I'd be in prison. Love my legal state. I have significantly less expendable income. It's a fucking complete 180. My mental health is somehow worse. I am in a relationship with an amazing girl though. I still don't make the best decisions. Better. So hikers of Reddit, what is the strangest things you've seen on the trails? A man resembling Santa wearing nothing but granny panties. In a swamp in Florida I found a picture of a high school age girl looked like a graduation picture stabbed into the ground by a kitchen knife and surrounded by black candles. Also had an old naked barefoot hippie lady come jogging up a mountain past me on the Blue Ridge Parkway in North Carolina. On the way down a small mountain hike with some friends we spot another hiker alone coming up the trail towards us. When we get in talking range he says you all want to see this cool dance. Then proceeded to do the Rick and Morty Get Swifty song. Full squatting down and everything. Stand straight and said have a good trip and stay safe then keeps walking. Never seen anything more strange on a hike. If a 2-day-old newborn is left on your doorstep, for you to give it a home, what do? I would call the police. Take it inside. Call 911. Tell the dog to stop licking the baby. Make sure it was okay. Reiterate to the dog that the baby isn't to be licked. Try to make sure the baby was warm and fed. Yell at the dog to stop licking the baby. Take the baby's temperature to make sure Leela stop licking the baby. Stop it, just back up. Seriously, we get it, you like the baby, we all get it. Comfort the baby from all the yelling. Turn it into CPS or whatever program exists that takes an abandoned infant. I would call 911. As a black man who lives in the USA I am going to quote, the Boondocks 2005 SO3E14 The Color Ruckus, that's exactly what I need. A goddamn white baby kidnapping charge. I'm good. Atheists or religious people open to conversation, what are some things about a certain religion that, while they mean well, do you think are harmful? When they try to save you from going to hell simply because they think you're a goner. I also don't like the fact that they think those who don't have a religion or different beliefs have no morals. Since how could we without a religion? Like come on, use your brain, man. It's called using rational and just being an okay person not wanting to do anything bad. Using fear as a weapon for manipulation. Fear of hell, to be more specific. Especially for kids. Like, if you act naughty, you'll spend all eternity burning in hell. Believe what you want, but stop trying to apply your religious moral standards to anyone but yourself. People in the USA who still display a Confederate flag. Why? My friend once went on a date with a dude who had a Confederate flag at his house and she got really offended over it. After the date she asked him why he had that flag. He is British, It was a British flag. Came here to see comments from 100 people who do not display a Confederate flag and was not disappointed. This is Reddit. No one who flies a Confederate flag is going to answer you here. I no longer do. As a kid I did because of the Dukes of Hazzard. Even in high school it was a thing. And you'd as likely see a black guy driving a truck with a Confederate flag. Also, gun to your head, what song can you sing 100 correctly under pressure? ABC song. Daft Punk Around the World. Happy Birthday. Under Pressure. Tequila. American Pie. Is this the real life? X200B throat punch the gun holder when they start singing along with me. Regulators. All-Star by Smash Mouth. That MF is going to be cleaning my brains out of his clothes with Baby Shark stuck in his head. Jesus of Suburbia. GLAMOROUS we fly in first class. Fiona Apple Criminal. I want you back in sync, sorry not sorry. Rap God. Another Brick in the Wall Part 1, 2, and 3. Ice Ice Baby. The Humpty Dance. Pompeii by Bastille. Neon Moon. Creep Radiohead. This is the song that never ends. Inagata Vida. I just can't wait to be copying. We Will Rock You. Every Time You Go Away Paul Young. Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. LOL. The National Anthem and One by Metallica. What is better in the US than in Europe? Wild Animals. Those fuckers have almost everything and we make do with squirrels and geese. Mexican food. I'm from California but live in Germany. I miss Mexican food more than I miss my family. Wide open spaces in nature. Drop Alaska over a map of Europe and it's insane to think how much wild space there is in the US. The US national parks. There are so many beautiful natural wonders in the US. They are available to everyone, they are protected and well maintained. Living space. The amount of space outside the big cities you have available for housing is just crazy. Barbecue. You guys do good barbecue. Diners. I love diners. Diversity of large mammals. 24-hour stores. ATL East. Here in the Netherlands there are almost no stores that are open 24 hours. Kids of the 80s and 90s, what was your favorite arcade game? The Simpsons and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Golden Axe. Gauntlet. Joust. Cruising USA. Ghosts and Goblins. My favorite and also my most hated. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Street Fighter. Time Crisis 2 was awesome. Always worth the money. Operation Wolf. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, RoboCop and Simpsons. All got roughly equal playtime. Double Dragon, Galaga and Mortal Kombat. Dig Dug, Time Pilot. Pac-Man, already an oldie but goodie when I was a kid in the 90s. Space Invaders of course, but also loved Galaga, Galaxians, Frogger, Donkey Kong, Asteroid, and Daley Thompson's Decathlon. Ye Are Kung Fu, Galaga and Hydro Thunder. Maybe Gauntlet Legends or the arcade Star Wars trilogy. I think it was this pinball machine called Pinbot. What are your opinions on someone with no social media? Made a wise choice. Smart. You have to be actively engaged in conversation and take time to get to know a person who is not on social media. It takes more effort. And they probably have little concern about the opinions of others and don't need likes, hearts or thumbs up to feel validated as a human being. That's a bonus. What used to be normal is now mysterious. No big deal. Apparently, they prefer to socialize in real life and I'm fine with that. They're unnaturally healthy. Huge congrats to them. Smart. They are smart. They are the coolest person in the room usually. Most of the time they're the most relaxed and chilled out person as they have no stress and don't care what you think. I automatically respect them if they're not a prick about it, but I'm always curious on why so. Since I used to be that person too. Lol. I rather my grandparents did not have social media. They're probably happier in general. Do you think Christian nationalism is a threat to democracy and why or why not? It's a threat in the exact same way any religious nationalism would be. They're theocrats. So by definition they don't want a democracy. Democracy is founded on the principles of equality, inclusiveness, and the protection of individual rights. Any ideology or movement that seeks to undermine these principles, or promote discrimination or exclusion, can be considered a threat to democracy. It is up to individuals and society as a whole to critically evaluate and challenge ideologies and movements that may be harmful or contrary to the principles of democracy. Yes, democratic ideals and their goals cannot coexist. They want a theocracy, where their interpretation of the Bible is what determines law, rather than what is more appealing to the population. They're a threat to democracy, to the nation and to human rights. What book do you think every person should read at least once? Man's Search for Meaning. Fahrenheit 451. The Hungry Caterpillar. I would say any of the top anti-war novels, such as Slaughterhouse-Five, All Quiet on the Western Front, or The Things They Carry. Just my personal faves. 1984 George Orwell. Slaughterhouse-Five. Kurt Vonnegut. Fahrenheit 451 Ray Bradbury. Mouse. Vintage Physique by George Kelly. Great read if you are a fitness junkie and love bodybuilding, especially old school bodybuilding. The Kite Runner. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. Easy and fun read. Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. Your State's Driver's Manual. 1984. Beloved Toni Morrison. Oh, the Places You'll Go. Dr. Seuss. Notes from Underground. Fyodor Dostoevsky. Honestly, every book should be given a chance. Not necessarily finished, but given a chance.